So there are two groups that are blaming Mr. Obama for everything. The first group are Republicans. And you say, why are they blaming Obama for everything? Well, because they're hypocrites. They want you to forget 8 years of Bush. Hypocrites. Anybody read the Pledge of America? I have. What did it say? We're going to balance the budget. As soon as we're in power, we're going to balance that budget. Right? And what do they say? We're going to balance that budget by stopping TARP, a few other things, and by the way, we're going to increase military spending. Holy. You just said in one sentence or one page, you're going to cut spending and you're going to increase spending. And you're telling me you're going to balance the budget. You can't even give a pledge to America without it not making any sense to anybody. So they're hypocrites. Why are the financial institutions calling Obama and the Democrats a socialist? I have no idea. They're their best friends. You've got TARP that they passed. You've got cash for clunkers, which was money funneled to car corporations. You have FinReg, which was supposed to get derivatives out of the market that are dangerous to our financial institutions, dangerous to our stock market, and yet they did not do anything about the derivatives market. They had a chance to restore Glass-Steagall, which would have separated different institutions, and they have not. FinReg did not touch any of the major reforms that we need. So why are the financial institutions picking on the Democrats and calling them socialists? I have no idea. They're their best friends in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the question was, since the economic collapse occurred under the Bush administration, why are we blaming Obama? I think we need to go back and see how we got into the mess we got into. Because when President Bush came into office, we had enough of a surplus. They're talking about balancing the budget. We had enough of a surplus to pay off the entire national debt held by the public by 2 years ago. There'd be no money, no borrowing money from China, no borrowing money from Saudi Arabia. It'd all be paid for. And they came in with their reckless economic policy and put us in the ditch. Now, by the time the administration was over, there was a total economic collapse. We were losing hundreds of thousands of jobs a month. The Wall Street was about to collapse. And they came in with their solution with no plan at all. They asked us to just come up with $700 billion with no credible, comprehensive plan of what they were going to do with it. And for that reason, I voted against it. They didn't know what they were going to do. They came, the things they said they were going to do didn't make any sense. So the Wall Street mess we got into was because they had no regulation. These credit default swaps were essentially insurance, where you say if something bad happens, you pay off. Well, insurance, you're selling insurance, it's regulated. One thing about insurance is you have to have assets to back up your promise. They're making all these promises, no assets. One of the things that Wall Street reform did was that if you're selling something that looks like insurance, you have to have the assets to back up your promise. Now, if there's a collapse, they'll have to have the assets. They won't be looking at the federal government to pay off. They'll have assets to back up their own promises. But basically, the problem was the fact that they had a reckless budget. We need to get back to a budget that makes sense. The Democratic budget in 1993 passed over the objection of each and every Republican. Not a single Republican voted for it. And after we voted for it, after we cast those tough votes, they pounced on us. They told Marjorie Magolish-Kozinski, who cast the 218th vote, bye-bye Marjorie. And then they campaigned against those votes, even though it almost quadrupled the Dow, record number of jobs, and converted a budget deficit into paying off the national debt. Now we have the same situation. They have not had one credible suggestion as to what to do. They've complained about the deficit, but listen very carefully as they complain. Not one idea of what Obama should have done about it. Should he have raised taxes? Would they have supported him on that? Should he have cut spending rather than try to stimulate the economy? Would they have supported him on that? Not one suggestion as what he should have done, other than now they pass off this big deficit and big recession onto him, and it's his problem. We can do better. We need to make the tough choices, and we can turn it around just like we did in 1993 and I don't expect a single Republican to help us.